the lives of their children and families in order to strengthen their communities, and whereas the goal of the program is to reach low-income fathers who are ignored, isolated, and have no reliable support system, and provide them with educational and vocational opportunities, and whereas the Teen Fatherhood Academy, Parent Training and Development, Dad-to-Dad Mentoring, Father Support Group, and Gents to Gentlemen are the 5 comprehensive programs giving young fathers the tools and resources they need to grow into responsible individuals. And whereas since 2006, Young Fathers of Central Florida has sponsored Father's Week, a week-long series of events that focus on motivating young fathers. And whereas the City of Orlando and its residents have consistently supported Young Fathers of Central Florida with workshops, seminars, and activities that assist community residents with parenting classes, child support information, mentors, and other educational information. Now therefore, I, Buddy Dyer, Mayor of the City of Orlando, hereby do proclaim the week of June 9th through 14, 2014 in the City of Orlando as Father's Week. In witness whereof, I hereunto have set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Orlando to be affixed on this 9th day of June, 2014. And to accept this proclamation, I'd like to ask Mr. Glenn Brown to step up here to the podium.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Glenn Brown. I'm one of the coordinators for the Young Fathers of Central Florida, and I've been supporting the organization for the entire 7 years. I wasn't a teen dad, but I very well could have been, so I'll let that marinate a little bit. But I just wanted to thank you all for taking your time out your busy day to support us. It really means a lot to us to have this proclamation for the city, and we're just glad to have you on board to support the organization. Thank you very much.
And now to keep the program moving, I'm going to bring up our executive director, good friend of mine. I've been working with him now 6 out of these 7 years, and many of you all know him. He is definitely the backbone of this program and a force within this community. And I'm honored and pleasure to have him as a friend and a brother, our executive director, Mr. Hakeem.
No. Good evening, everyone. Everyone can hear me? Well, first off, I'd like to thank the Father's Week Committee, Denise Moore, otherwise known as DJ Niece, Glenn Brown, Ruben, of course, and in the back we have Crystal Armstrong and Stephanie Grant Black Grant. I want to thank him for all the support they've given during this last few months organizing Father's Week. As Glenn said, I'd like to really appreciate or thank all of you for coming out tonight, because if you're here for a reason. You're not here for entertainment. There's no one up here dancing, jiggling, nothing else. No one's giving out anything. So you're here for a purpose. And tonight we're discussing responsible fatherhood and black male achievement. Before I get started by introducing the panelists, and you're going to introduce yourselves, I just want to give a quick recap of what's going on this week. I started Father's Week in New York City about 18 years ago. And presently, there's a Father's Week in over 56 cities in the country. When I first arrived in Florida, they had never heard of a Father's Week, a week where you provide workshops, seminars, fun to the entire community. But ever since we started, this is our 7th year. We continue to grow each year and service more people in the community each year. Today, of course, is Responsible Fatherhood and Black Male Achievement. What we want to do tonight is to bring people in the community who either work with young boys or fathers, or who have the desire to. You might be starting a program that's really has not developed to the point where you want it to be, and you need assistance to do that, because through this meeting tonight, we're going to start our Florida State Coalition on Young Fathers and Black Male Achievement. So if after the night you hear what you like and you want to get more information as we move forward, just let us know by signing where your name is. There's a little box down at the bottom. Just check that box and we'll get in contact with you for further meetings. Tomorrow we're going to, right here at Callahan, is going to be our Father's Rights and Child Support Night. That's where we're going to Sean Forehand over here. We'll definitely be there tomorrow and discuss what he's involved with in child support. And we'll have 2 family law attorneys there as well who practice family law. So if you have anyone that you know who has questions on family law, child support, this is a free seminar for them. So they should come, get their questions answered, ask questions. This is the time to do that. I get at least 20 calls a day about child support. So this is the time for those people who call and ask those questions. They need to be at this seminar. And of course, it's free. All the events throughout the week are free. Wednesday, we have Entrepreneur, Employment, and Education Night. That's going to be held at the Jackson Community Center. If you don't know where that is, that's about 5 minutes from here. I think it's on West Lawn and Holden Heights. Then we have on Thursday night, we have our mentoring night. That's going to be at Downtown Rec Center, where we're striving to get 100 mentors in that one particular night. Saturday, we're having a pool party at Dover Shores, thanks to Denise Moore for the family. And then Sunday, we're having our Father's Day dinner. We're going to talk a little bit more about these events as we go on throughout the night. But what I wanted to do at this point is to start with the brother in the red shirt, and we're going to go around the table and tell us who you are, what organization you represent, and why you're here tonight.
Well, my name is Todd Long, and I'm here because I heard on 94.5, actually, you guys being advertised. And beforehand, I wanted to meet with you, and I had made several attempts to contact you, but I hadn't gotten a return call. So when I went on and I looked it up, I said, okay, that's the same guy that's been discussed at a meeting that we had. I'm here because I've had my test and my struggle with child support, and I was a young father. I was a father at Evans High School, and it's been a pretty tough hill to climb. And being that father, and being that structure and that man to where I'm at today, I've had all sorts of difficulties. And this gentleman right sitting next to me can attest to that, because he's helped me along the way in my struggle. And I'm doing the very best I can. So that's one reason why I'm here today, to see what you have going on, to help in any way that I can. And I wish to talk to you after the meeting is over as well.
Were you volunteering? You was coming to volunteer?
I can.
Okay. So you have child support questions?
Well, not so much that I have child support questions. It's just, like I said, I heard about what you were doing here in the community, and your name was discussed, brought up to me prior to now. So I figured I would come step in to see what was going on and what exactly you have or what was going on. I really wasn't impressed to what you really do have, so that's why I'm here.
Write it down as a potential volunteer. Okay, brother. Rich and Ruben mentioned Dion. When I met him, that's all I needed right there. As humble as he was, and then I saw the way he was interacting with his son. I said, well, we have to help him. So, you know, if you have a situation where there's a father that's in need, like Leon, and he's over 24 years old, that doesn't mean we're going to, you know, reject him and turn him away. So, you know, we do work with guys over 34. And it's just when I met Dion, he just was so humble. I just knew that we had to try to do what we could to help him. But, you know, I'm sure we'll continue to do that. Next, Sean.
Yes, my name is Sean Forehand. I'm with the Department of Revenue, Child Support Enforcement. We met Hakeem about 7 years ago. About 7 years ago, and with this program starting with the young fathers, we do have a lot of cases where driver's license do become an issue. Like my brother Todd's, he has some issues dealing with child support, and we were able to get those things straightened out. Right now, I'd probably say he don't come visit me anymore. So he took care of his part, he's done with that. So, but we do try to help those who are having situations dealing with driver's license. Sometimes the number, like the example of $4,000, that may be something that we can look at. Some things that we can look at is trying to get the license back to the person that is paying the child support to be able to provide for their children, whether it be a mother or a father. So those are kind of things that we deal with. There's a lot of misconceptions about child support in the community. And what my supervisor, David Young, he will be here tomorrow as well, designed a program about 7-8 years ago. This LINUS program, which stands for Low Income Non-Custodial Outreach Services. Basically what we do is try to help those fathers or mothers that are paying child support to resubmit themselves back in the community to be able to pay their child support. Whether it's reinstate driving license, we do job leave, job referrals, whatever we can do to try to get them back on the right track to provide for their kids. So tomorrow we have a format tomorrow, and hopefully there'll be more people to come in and have as questions as you can. We'll try to fill in as much as we can. Thank you.
My name is Joseph Caesar. I am the Community Center Manager here at the Callahan Center for the City of Orlando. I've partnered with Hakeem Young Fathers of Central Florida. We partnered for the past, I believe, 5 years doing programs for young fathers and young men here at the Callahan Center. I've also been able to employ a couple young fathers from the program and serve as a mentor to them. I was not a young father. I've only been a father for about 5 months. And trust me, I know how hard it is. I can only imagine what the struggles that the young men go through today that are young fathers. So that's why I'm here.
Again, Rupert Grant, sit on the board for Young Fathers. I was a young father as well, which is why this is so near and dear to my heart. And I also work with the Sigma Beta Club. And so I'm here twofold because this is about Black male achievement as well, and coordination of groups that assist young Black men so that we can all work together and possibly get some coordination, some funding, and different things of that nature, and hopefully come out of this meeting, like I said, a united force for good here in Central Florida.
Hello everybody, my name is Marlon Melton. I just saw the topic in the Florida Sun and I came out because it seemed like an interesting topic to learn more and just to broaden my perspective. Thanks.
My name is Wayne Metz, and I'm not a young father, but I'm a father of young kids. As a matter of fact, I have to pick up my kids in a few minutes, so I just wanted to come by and see something positive. And I have relatives who told me about this event, said they were going to be here, and I don't know what happened to them, but that's
Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. The reason why I'm here this evening is because this has been part of my work experience, being a youth counselor, a juvenile counselor, working with youth that come from unstable homes and have had a brush with the law. Our youth need guidance, especially our black youth.
Once again, my name is Glenn Brown. I work full-time for Lockheed Martin as a systems engineer. And when I accepted the proclamation, I didn't finish what I was going to say. I wasn't a young father, but I very well could have been. Growing up in inner city Philadelphia, North Philadelphia, it's very, very common, just like here in Paramore and some of the other urban areas. If it wasn't for a praying mother and 6 older brothers, I probably very well could have been a teenage dad 10 times over. Like I said, I was there married. But I'm very passionate about the organization, and I'm very passionate about helping folks that are passionate. So if you want to see passion, you look at Mr. Nkrumah, you look at the Crystals, the Stephanies and the Rubens of this organization. So I'm very passionate about helping this organization because it's not just about the young fathers. It's also, and that's our joke. I'm always reading Lisa emails. And she's very passionate as well. But it's not just about the young fathers, it's also some prevention too. And we do things like mentoring. I was telling Mr. Moran, and we do things like mentoring of young men so that they don't fall to that mold, if you will. So that's why I'm here and I continue to support the organization. I'm sorry to speak.
Praise the Lord. I'm Denise Moore. I work with the City of Orlando, and the reason that I'm here is actually as a result of Mr. Rodney Williams allowing me to attend a conference in Daytona. And I was pretty much the only girl that went, but I'm adamant about standing by my man, but I mean that in a way of standing by these young kids, these young brothers who need some positive leadership, standing by, the gentleman who is just, has so much to bear. And it hits me personally because I'm also a DCD, and I'm in an atmosphere of nothing but men in my DJ profession. And I see so much stuff that the brothers go through, and it just impacts me personally. So whatever I can do to support it, since I can't obviously be a man, then I'm there. So I've been committed from day one with Haki, and I'm so grateful to be a part of it. So thank you, Rodney, and thank you, Haki. This is a pleasure.
We did the conference in Daytona, and you know how when you do a conference, you want to start on time and you want to get there early. Nisi was the first one at the door, wasn't even open. She was the first one standing at the door. And I said, oh boy. And next thing you know, is there anything I can do? I said, sure. She's been with us ever since.
Hello, my name is Vincent Williams. I heard about the Young Fathers thing, actually by my brother, he's in Tallahassee. He sent me something on Facebook about it. And then my big sister in ECD, I know Denise for like 8, 9 years now. Ever since I moved to Orlando from Palm Beach County. And she sent me a couple of things on Facebook about it. And what kind of caught my interest, I didn't really know until now I was reading up on that you all have a mentoring program. I'm not young no more, but I had but I had my first son at 24, so I wanted to come out and learn stuff. Because like right now I'm going through a thing with him and his mom, with his mom in court also. So I just wanted to come out and get support. But then when I realized the mentoring program, I always wanted to get into a big brother, big sister type of program anyway. So I'm kind of glad I came out and seen this. And this young guy, I actually work for Orange County Fire Department. So before we leave and switch numbers, and I try to help you out with get into the EMT program and just find some guys I can talk with and see what I can get started up with. All right.
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Emmanuel King. I'm currently employed as a physician's assistant at a orthopedic practice here in the Orlando area. My other role is the vice president for the alumni chapter of Gamma Delta Sigma. My frat brother, Hierarchy, Aaron Morse, and Grant and young Al here, Junior
supervisor at Valencia. He was assistant director of admissions. I was basically a processor, and he kind of helped mold me, mentor me, and say, listen, look, you need to take more leadership role. You need to do this. So from there, I started my organization about 2 years ago called Grace Project. And what we do is we go out to the community, do tutoring, mentoring, any kids that need help. We go to local high schools and do ACT, SAT test prep with kids, mostly student athletes, to try to help get them where they need to be. I'm partnering with several different organizations. One of them, my man speaking in a minute, but I'm partnering with Edgewater High School to provide our mentoring service within Edgewater High School in order to assist some of the at-risk youth. So if you have any questions, check with me later.
Lewis, I'm glad that Lewis mentioned that because I saw something in Lewis. He was in another department, he was working. I said, I'm going to get you in my department. He's like, no, they're not going to let you. I said, they're going to let me. So I just saw something in him. I just thought his potential and his skill level wasn't being used. So I ended up getting him over to me. And I knew I was resigning to start Young Falls Central Florida. So I said, you need to be a supervisor. He said, well, tell me what to do. I told him what to do, and he did it.
I was supervisor for 4 years.
Good evening, my name is Nate Moran. I'm in the SAFE coordinator at Edgewater High School. I heard about this through Lewis Gray here. I've also worked with Miss Crystal over at Freedom High School before. I've been researching over the past couple of years. I've been a SAFE there for now 3 years, going on 4, and been researching some mentorship programs to bring to Edgewater High School. We do have some, but we're looking for more to actually come into the schools, maybe into the classroom. And so I heard about Young Fathers through Lewis, and so I'm here just to learn. Thank you for having me.
Good evening. I'm not a man. I just met Hakeem about an hour ago, and I was introduced by Lewis. And I am the owner and founder of Ames Financial. And I'm a certified financial planner, transition money coach, life insurance agent. I work with a lot of people. I've been in the industry for many years. But what's true and dear to my heart is financial literacy, economic empowerment. And I think that that's a cornerstone of everything that we're talking about here. So I had no idea exactly what I was coming to tonight, but I want to just kind of put myself out there for any of the organizations. What's near and dear to my heart is empowering our community. I'm sure I can help everybody in here in some way. And so I am offering to volunteer for this organization, any organizations out here where you feel like your participants, your attendees, or whomever in your organizations need some sort of financial literacy training. I do workshops, seminars, so use me.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. How are you today? My name is Linwood Harris. I'm a transfer from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I've been working here in Orlando for the past 2 years. I work for Costco Wholesale as a marketing person, but I also work with the City of Orlando and the Paramore Kids Zone with the Youth of College Advocacy. Of course, Glenn and Evan are my colleagues over there at PKZ and the Downtown Rec. So they told me about the event, and I wanted to make sure I come by and support and gain some insight on what's taking place here in Orlando and what's taking place in the program.
I want to say I appreciate everyone for coming out, and the reason why at all my events, I want everyone to say what they do and to speak. It bothers me to go to events, and if a person is not an extroverted person, they'll sit in the back sometimes and won't say anything. But to me, I think everyone has a value and what they think is valuable. So that's why I appreciate you guys letting us in a little bit about telling us about who you are. We're going to get to our panel now. Everyone on the panel is I respect highly, or I would not have invited them here. Some I've been working with a very long time. Sheriff Demings was one of our speakers at one of our first events, and he's still supportive. and that means a lot to me because he doesn't have to be. Earl, Mr. Dr. Moore, I've known him the shortest amount of time, but I've gained respect for him and what he does. So what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to start with Mr. Williams on the far end, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what he does and why he is here and what initiative he has with his agency.
Good evening. I'm Rodney Williams. I'm with the City of Orlando. I'm the Recreation Division Manager. And like he said, you know, I'm here because the City of Orlando is committed. We're committed to young fathers. We're committed to Black male achievement, and just committed to this community, period. And I'm delighted to have the opportunity to come out and share with you all this evening, because we're not just giving lip service. We're committed in several ways. I like to boast and brag about the Black male achievement piece. You know, the president came out with My Brother's Keeper, and you know, people started throwing money out there for Black male achievement. It's been something that we've practiced here at the City of Orlando for some time as it pertains to Black male achievement. Joe Caesar introduced himself earlier as the center manager for his center. We have 20 of these centers, and 10 of the managers look like Joe Caesar. So what I did was I had the opportunity of calling on my managers within the community and the community centers, and I asked them to come all hands on deck and become Black males and help them all to achieve by mentoring. And there was about 17 of us, you know, 10 managers, the other 7 are sitting in assistant roles. And what we did, you know, as mentors, we came together and started mentoring each other, first of all. And, you know, anytime there's a program, you got to hook them and hold them. And sometimes when you call, people say, what now? You know, what is he ready to put on us now? But I came to them and asked them, you know, this community needs us. You know, somebody's helped us. We're in leadership roles now. Now it's time to reach out and help this community. And that's what we did. We all took on mentors. Some of us had never been mentors before. You know, and meeting the key. One of the things that he said all the time, guys invite me to go play golf all the time. That's what he said. He said, but those 4 hours that I'm out there playing golf, I could be somewhere mentoring a kid. He said, that's what I choose to do first. And I heard that, it stuck with me. I love golf. And when I started to share with our guys, I told them, I said, I don't want to take you away from your families. So what I'm going to ask you to do is take an hour and a half on the city, find a mentor, go to the school, have lunch with this mentor on the city, so I'm not taking you away from your families. You know, who wouldn't want to jump at the opportunity, you know, in the city's dime? But that was just to get them hooked, because once you start mentoring these young men in this community, you'll start finding another time to spend with them. All it takes is just to get down and spend that time. So I'm proud to say that all 17 of my mentors have mentees, and we come together and we spend time with those mentees, mentoring them as a group. We've also partnered with the Young Fathers. We have the Young Fathers program at the Northwest Community Center. And basically, Hakeem comes in 2 times a week. And we refer our young fathers over there to this program. We see time in and time out, the youth come through the doors with chips on the shoulder. They're coming through the doors with the chips on the shoulders, with the fists all balled up, because a lot of them don't have fathers. They're not being shown the love. So that's where we step in. We step in and we show these kids the love, but we step farther and committing to break this perpetual cycle by bringing these young fathers into a program, teaching them to be fathers, not taking it out on the children because they're mad with the mothers about child support or whatever. And that was important to us if we're gonna break that cycle, because you know when young Rays and radiators come into the center, and everybody starts talking about those bad kids, but we want to change that. And that's the difference that we're gonna make in this community and partner. You know, we're asking these young men to go through this program. Going through this program, I'll set jobs aside. We employ 150 to 200 people during the summers and another 75 throughout the year. We're committed. We'll set jobs aside for individuals that will go through this program, will show us that they want to be fathers. So I just wanted to share with you a little bit. I'll be here. You can ask me any questions that you like. But the City of Orlando Recreation Division, we're committed to this program.
Oh, thank you. I mean, Rodney and I speak a lot, and one thing that I always, you know, I just don't think people realize what Rodney's doing in the city here. I mean, what he's doing, if you didn't hear what he said, because Rodney is humble. He don't like to be up front, but I'm going to push him, especially 6'8", so I got a lot of pushing. But I'm going to push this brother because he's actually taken 17 centers, 17 individual brothers. Because you know 60% of African American boys are mentored by white men. Are we going to tell them to stop mentoring them? No. But these men have to step up. So Rodney is not just talking. Who was that earlier said something about talking a good game? What Rick was saying. So many people in the community talk a good game, but they're not producing. And Rodney is taking these 17 men, each one of them has a mentee. He's not only doing that. Did y'all really understand what he said when he said in an 8-hour day? Now that's the boss. He's saying you can take an hour of that day to work with these young boys. I don't know anyone else do that. No one. I've been in this for 20 years. I've never heard someone take that many men to get that many mentees and do everything he can in his power. And then the Young Fathers Program. Me and Rodney was sitting having lunch in Washington, D.C., had never met. Both of us from Orlando. He said, "You doing what in Orlando?" I said, "You doing what in Orlando?" He said, "When you get back to Orlando, we talking." Ever since then, me and Rodney's been working. He signed the papers to get that Young Fatherhood Program. So I respect Rodney so much, and I'm always telling him that because I don't think sometimes we realize what he's doing. That's why we're here right now. Because all of you in this room, if you didn't know who Rodney was, you know now. And you know what he's doing. Exactly what he's doing. That leads me to the next person. Dr. Claudette McFadden, doing Cookman University.
I am Claudette McFadden from Cookman University, and I serve as a senior policy advisor for Dr. Edison Jackson, who is our 6th president. If you don't know anything at all about Dr. Jackson, then you must know tonight that he is committed to black males and improving the lives of black males. And when I came to him, or went to him last year to talk about Young Fathers of Central Florida, he immediately said, "We need to be involved, we need to do this." I met Ike, I guess 4 years ago now, when he came on campus to participate in a black male think tank and higher education summit or conference, and we had Al Sharpton on campus at that time, and there's a green room, a holding room for persons who are going on stage to participate, and Hakeem was there, and I went into the room and we started talking, and it was at that time that I learned about Young Fathers of Central Florida and what he did. I immediately fell in love with the whole idea. It just blew me away. And Hakeem and I talked many, many times, and he knows that my passion comes from not having a father present in my life. And so the work that he was doing became very important to me, because I know, even at 63 years old, that I miss that even today. And so when he told me what he was doing in terms of getting young people excited about being fathers and identifying young people who wanted to do that very thing that my own father didn't seem to want to do, I said, glory, hallelujah. You have my support completely because I know what they missed. And so I am so happy to be here today because what we're doing on campus, I say, is groundbreaking. We have, thanks to Haiki, because he serves as the facilitator, for what we have that's called the Young Fatherhood Institute, right on the campus of Bethune University. And Haiki comes on campus twice a week, on Wednesdays from 10:20 until 11:20 in the morning. And then on Thursday evening, he returns from, I think, 6 until 7 is the time. And our student fathers come, and he feeds into them and just gives them all that he can give them in that time period. But it's not even accurate to say that time period because he does so much more outside of that structured block of time. I understand, he fills me in. I don't go because that's them and that's for the brothers. But he does share with me some of what goes on. So I know he's been to court with a couple of them. I know that he has done some conflict mediation with some of them. And I have a real appreciation for what this concept of co-parenting means. And I think he's helped our young men to grow up. Because so often they think that being at odds and being in a constant battle with the baby's mom is going to reap some benefits, and it never does. But Hakeem's helped them to understand that that is not the way. That what is most important is co-parenting effectively, regardless of whether or not you have a relationship with a mother at this point or not. You still have to be the parents for that child. And so we have great hopes for what the future brings in terms of our Young Fatherhood Institute. I shared with Hakeem a long time ago that I envision a research center for young fathers on the campus of Bethune University. He tells me nobody else is doing it. So I say, why not us? I envision a major resource center for young fathers. Not just for our students on campus, because one of the things that we have to get very busy doing at ECU is finding out how many young fathers we have. We really don't know. But one of the things that we are looking at doing is including on the admission application the question, are you a father? Are you a parent? Because even as we talk about young fathers, we still need to be looking at student parents and not just young fathers. We're starting with fathers, of course, but this really is an issue that involves all of our students who also happen to be parents. Clearly, at the end of the day, this is about retaining our students and being sure that they have the support that's necessary to be graduated. Students who are parents have some additional challenges, there's no question about it. And one of the things that we've learned is that oftentimes they will leave the university because they want to be close to their children. And if mom says, I'm going back home to Atlanta, and this young man says, I need to be around my child, I'm leaving, and we've lost him. And perhaps not, we've lost him perhaps to a life where that degree has been delayed, or perhaps won't come at all. And so it is in our best interest and in his best interest and in the best interest of the Black community and in the nation that we can provide support so that they can finish their degrees. And so the work that we do in terms of the Institute and in terms of all that all of us want to do for young fathers is just so critical in terms of what it means for the children that they have, in terms of what it means for the family that they will be the head of, that they will be a partner in terms of the communities where they will live. There's just no question. I always think, I told Hakeem a long time ago, this is God's work. This really isn't ours. Because when you do this kind of thing, this is God right in the middle of it, who is directing our hearts first, because you don't do this without having the right kind of heart. And so I'm just so excited to be here. And I want to thank Hakeem, and I kind of feel out of place being the only female, but I'm not, because I see a few other sisters here. But at the same time, you know, and the other thing that really excites me about this is that I've said to, because Hakeem has some of our students who are not fathers who are also actively involved, and some who come to every single meeting, and yet they're not dads. So I said to them, you keep coming. because there's a career opportunity here for you. This is major. This is going to blow up in terms of being an area that you can move into professionally. Eyes got real big. Oh. And so I'm excited for them as well. But thank you so much for having me, and I'm just happy to be here.
Thank you, Dr. McFadden. Let me say one thing about Dr. McFadden. Her, like Rodney, they're sort of new at this particular field, so they, they got to get pushed a little, And just like Rodney is doing something groundbreaking with community centers, Dr. McFadden is doing something groundbreaking at a university. Bethune-Cookman University is the first major university in the United States of America that has a Young Fatherhood Institute. And you know what tickles me, because most of you know that I do a lot of national work across the country, but what tickles me sometimes is when I have these people call me from across the country. A guy just called me recently from New Jersey. Man, I just love the work you and Dr. McFadden doing, man. You two brothers are, man, y'all putting it down. Y'all brothers are doing y'all thing. I said, no, brothers, back up a little bit, back up. Yeah, like I said, y'all brothers are doing it. Dr. McFadden, her first name is Claudette. It's a woman? I said, yes, it's a woman. Women are in this struggle as well. So that's why I commend her so much, because just like Nisi said, she's in the field as predominantly males. She's in the field of fatherhood field, and like I tell her, she's in that field now, whether she like it or not. But just like her and Rodney, they went to whoever they had to go to sign a check to get this program moving at their institutions or their centers. So I just want to say, thank you, Dr. McFadden, because what you're doing and what Bethune-Cookman University is doing is groundbreaking. Because I've gotten at least 50 calls. I've received over 50 calls from universities across the country wanting to get more information as to what it is we're doing. But I just want, just like me and Dr. McFadden said, BCU is going to be the research hub. When they start writing them all those million-dollar checks for research, Bethune-Cookman is going to get that money. Because we're doing the groundwork there. So, and that's why I chose Bethune-Cookman, and I'm glad they accepted it. Thank you. Dr.
Yes, hi, hello everyone. I'm Dr. Omar. And listen, I can't tell y'all enough from Bethune-Cookman and what Dr. McFadden is doing here. Seriously, it's an honor to actually work with her on that. And it's not just brothers either, because she's also spearheading some sisters initiatives there too. And I had the honor of actually working with her one day and doing some of the evaluations for that. So it's a lot of things, great things coming from Bethune-Cookman University. And when that stuff starts rolling out, it'll be on that. It's already on that. Let's even a little bit more. But okay, all right. So I'll tell you a little about me. I was recruited to Bethune-Cookman University in the counseling department. That's where I come from originally. And part of that was actually counseling a lot of students, males, that are coming in, their parents. And so I hear their stories, and I know a lot of the hardships that they face. And I'll tell you, trying to be a parent, cope with the family situations, with either the wife or the girlfriend or the mother, it's hard on the young men. And they come in, just come out to us in counseling, and it used to break my heart. It did, because it was a tough pill to swallow to try to, counsel them. And I know what it is, the hardship that they're going through. But, one thing I will say about the students, they do persevere. They just need to know that they are loved and that people do care about them. And, with that, once they get that, that feeling that somebody actually does care about them, it just kickstarts them into a whole different mind frame. Now, so while I was at counseling center, I was recruited to head up and be the chair of the sociology department. That was a tough decision to make, to accept that position, simply because I felt that what I needed to do was to, help the males, black males in particular, as well as black females there too, in realizing and actualizing their dreams to get this education. And I just felt that in that capacity in the counseling center, if I moved over to the chair of the sociology department, that I wouldn't be able to help. But you know what? I'm telling you, mentoring does not end in counseling, whatever, because you know it carries over also into the capacity of church. I mean, you know, in that capacity, I see I'm responsible for all of the majors. So there's like 200 majors that come into my office on a daily, and well, not 200, but you know, sporadically. But what I'm trying to say to that end is this: is that I can't. What I do with them, to me, it's just mentoring. It's just mentoring. That's all I do for them. And when I see these students transform, they come in there and some of them are damaged, you know, quite honestly. And the goal is to elevate, give them that sense, that spirit. And once they get it, man, it's a beautiful thing to witness. And I tell you, when I go to the graduation functions and I see those students walking down the aisle that did not have the opportunity or didn't think that they had the opportunity, I can't help but cry. They look at me all the time. Dr. Bud, I saw you crying now, man. But you know, it really is a sight to behold, because you're looking at students that did not think that they were going to make it to that point. They did not think they were going to get to that point. And it takes a lot of cultivating, a lot of encouraging. And I have to think that that's part of the reason why I was recruited for that position, because of the outcomes that I was having in counseling, some other things. But I see the statistics because my area of research is social inequalities, race inequalities, it's actually social psychology. I know what African American males are up against. Listen, we've got like 12 social institutions. They are all rigged to capture young black males and reduce their life chances. It just is. It's, you know, so anything that I can do to that end to reduce that risk and increase their life chances, I'm on board. You know what, it's not even, this is what I'm here for. You know what I mean? It's not, you know, should I do this or should I not do this? This is really what I'm here for. This is what my life is. And I'm just elated that he actually invited me to this morning to discuss that further. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Good evening. I'm Jerry Dimmings, and I'm the sheriff here in Orange County. Glad to be here tonight. I get to deal with, I guess, the byproduct of what happens when fathers aren't fathers and parents aren't parents. And I'm going to be brief. I'm not going to give you a big commercial about myself or do a lot of talking. I'd rather hear from you all. But I will share some numbers with you, because when I talk about the byproduct, this is what's real. At 4 a.m. this morning in the Orange County Jail, there were 3,040 inmates there. About 87% of them were male, the other 13% obviously female. Out of that number, 54% of them describe themselves as being African American or black. Yet, here in Orange County, out of the 1.2 million people who live here, based on the U.S. Census, somewhere between 19 and 21% of the Orange County population describes themselves as being African American. But yet, with 54% of those incarcerated in Orange County Jail, that's 2.5 times our relative percentage here in this community. Today at 4 a.m., there were 24 children incarcerated at Orange County Jail. 24 children between the ages of 14 and 17 who are there because they've been charged with serious crimes like murder, armed robbery, etc. If you look at the children who are there, the ones who describe themselves as being African American, the numbers about 2/3 of the ones who are there. When we look at those who describe themselves as being Hispanic, they're about 15% of the population in Orange County Jail. But Hispanics in this community are about 27% of the population, but they're 15% of the population in our jail. So when you combine the 54 and the 15, you see nearly 70% of the people incarcerated in our jail are people of color. That pretty much holds itself true across any jail prison system. You know, it holds true when you look at the Florida state prison system as well. That's the sad part of what we're dealing with as a society. So I'm interested in trying to reduce those numbers. When we ask those individuals, particularly the males who are incarcerated in jail in our prisons, most of them, the overwhelming majority of them, have left a child without a father because of their incarceration. If we have two parents in the household, it's tough enough. This young man who's a single parent now, it's tough being when there's two parents in the household. So it's doubly hard when there's only one parent in the household. And so I believe that organizations like Young Fathers has an opportunity to really help strengthen the parenting that goes on in our homes. After all, when all these things that go wrong in our society, sometimes we're quick to point fingers at who's to blame, but it is all of our responsibility to raise better human beings in our society. And so mentoring is but one way to be able to do that. And so for those of you who just got hooked up with Haki, he's not going to let you go. he's good. You're going to be tied to him for years into the future. Those of you who volunteered, I'm not sure you know what you were volunteering for. But it's a labor of love that he has, and I hope it's a labor of love that we all have to try to make a difference in our society. We all win, you know, regardless. We tend to focus on, we're saying black male, but I would suggest to you that regardless of the hue of your skin, everybody wins when the least of those in this society are better able to take care of themselves and their family. We all win. So I applaud anybody who's willing to help the situation. So glad to be here.
Thanks, Jerry. Let me just say something quick about Jerry to just show light to the influence that he has in our community on our young men. We have a program here. Joe has been instrumental in helping us get, it's called Gents to Gentlemen. That's our etiquette and character development program for 10 to 13-year-old boys. And I normally show them pictures of different people throughout the community. And it's funny when I show them Jerry pictures, that's the sheriff, that's the sheriff. You know, and then it's funny how, you know, they start battling, you know, little boy, that ain't the sheriff, he worked for the FBI. He worked, you know, so they go on and on and on. And, but the thing was that the positive image that these young boys, 10 and 13-year-old, had for Jerry, was just refreshing because they envisioned, whether they call him FBI agent or superhero, whatever they were calling him, it was positive. And it was someone of authority, not a weak man, not a sniffling man, not an opportunist who's trying to take advantage of the children. It was a strong man of color, and that's what I like. Cause those little boys that have you just laughing about the attitude they have, but it was Jerry, you know, and that was good, and that was a very, very good thing. Glenn?
All right. Good evening, everybody. I'm also going to be brief. My name is Glenn Providence, and I work for the City of Orlando Parent Work Kids Zone. I'm here with a few of my colleagues. I'm glad to see them here. I'll never forget when Haki called me about speaking here tonight a couple months ago, and I said, "You sure, you want me to speak here?" And I was honored and I was privileged, and I said, "Absolutely." And Haki probably doesn't even know this, but I met Haki probably about 3 years ago at a conference down in Kissimmee near Disney. It was at one of the hotels, and I met him. And you know, you meet somebody, natural question is, well, what do you do? And he explained to me what he was doing. And I remember kind of, you know, like how the dogs kind of do like that. And that was the first time I had ever heard of an organization that was doing what Haki was doing. And I met him, and it was one of those things that you kind of, in your mind, you kind of shelve it and kind of put it away. And I had never seen Haki. It's been probably a year and went by, but that memory of meeting him and learning about what he did. I remember even going back in another organization I'm affiliated with, explaining to him, to them what he was doing, how we should try to partner together, and nothing ever came of it. And then fast forward about 6-7 months ago, in my new role, I remember going into, I work in PKC Youth Development. I'm a youth development coordinator. And I'd like to say I'm very fortunate in my life. Sometimes I don't feel that the work that I'm doing, that I even should be doing it, but I think it was mentioned that this is God's work, and if you know where God leads, then you know you're doing the right thing. I was fortunate to have grow up in a household with a mother and a father, and they're still alive, they're still married. I'm very blessed and thankful for that. But I never knew what it meant to not have a father, and so to me that was natural. But in the work that I'm doing right now, I was fortunate to now start working with young black men who didn't grow up with fathers. And so learning that and understanding that, and really getting, when people say, well, I didn't grow up with a father, and I didn't know what that meant. And I actually had to learn from them and learn from young men, and you layer on top of that being a father. And so how do you learn to be a father to a child when you never had a father? And so having young men, 19, 20, 21, in my office, and seeing a couple of them in tears, you know, I knew that this is where I was supposed to be. And so I never forget going to my supervisor, and I'm new in this job, and thinking, you know, and saying, you know what, I'm having these young black men, and these stories are repeating themselves. They all have these similar battles. They all need help, you know, and we have to do something. And she says, well, you know what, as a city, you know, there is a national movement being formed, and Orlando is one of the cities that have stepped up. And she said, I'd like you to be a part of this Black Male Achievement Initiative. And we step into this meeting, and who do I see? And that's how we came full circle. And that, again, that's how I know that God is at work here. And I'm privileged, I'm honored again to be here. I'm glad to know that as a country, we all talk about my brother's keeper, what President Obama, his initiative, his pledge. I had the chance of going to the first convening of the National League of Cities and their Institute for Black Male Achievement in New Orleans back in February with Rodney Williams, and had no idea to see the hundreds, almost thousands of people and mayors New Orleans, Philadelphia, and who are committed to this work at this time in our lives when we know all the statistics that are around there. So I think we're just scratching the iceberg. We haven't even gotten to the tip of what's left to come. There was a lot of work to do. So I commend and applaud all of you for being here, and I'm just honored and privileged to be here on this panel.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you. Yeah, I saw something, and I can tell when I found him, he was like, me? What do you want me? But see, everyone on this stage besides Jerry, you know, he's experienced in doing this, but it seems like a lot of the other people on the panel, they're kind of, you know, laid back a little bit, but the League of Cities, I wanted Lynn to really talk a little bit about the Black Male Achievement Initiative that the City of Orlando is going through right now. City of Orlando was selected, there's 10 cities selected in the country to be a part of the National League of Cities Black Male Achievement, National Black Male Achievement Initiative. And Rodney and Glenn, and we're all on this committee. We went to Seattle so far, Rodney, Seattle, New Orleans, Oakland, right. And just to see what other cities are doing and to see what the black men are doing together is just powerful. And I know that it has affected them because, I mean, I see it a lot because I travel a lot with the National Father Leaders Group and doing a lot of work across the country. But to see what the cities are doing in regards to black male achievement, it helps us understand that we have a lot of work to do. And that's what this meeting here is a part of as well. All right, understanding that we have a lot of work to do and it has to start somewhere. Okay, so those are the panelists. So what we're going to do now is we're going to open it up for some questions to the panel. So if you want to grab that, if you want to ask any questions, feel free. You can ask anything. But before we start, let me just mention a couple of things I want you to think about as we leave here, because we're pretty much on schedule. We're going to do question answer, and I want some of you to get the opportunity to meet one another before you leave. But there's a few things I want you to think about before you leave. Because people often ask me, what can I do? What Rodney was talking about, the golfing in the 4 hours. A lot of my friends who want to play golf, I tell them a lot. Well, that's 4 hours for 18 holes. That's if you're good, right? If you're not good, it might be 5 hours. So if you can't dedicate 5 hours a month to mentoring a young boy or working with an organization, then I don't have time for 5 hours of golf. That's pretty much how I have it. Because, you know, people already see me coming in, oh man, come on, get ready to, you know, bad boys, young fathers. I mean, nothing but to think of anything else. I don't have a lot of time to do that. Because you know why? Because they have little babies home that can't take care of themselves. And the same way, if you walk out this door right now, you see one of the little kids, you see a little baby out in the middle of the street running without any supervision, what is it you're going to do? You're going to go secure that child. You don't care if that child black, white, dirty, clean, cute, ugly. You don't care. You're going to secure that child. Now, after you secure the child, you might have some questions. But that's what we're doing. We're child advocates at the end of the day. People often ask me all the time, man, why do you love these fathers? I don't care too much about these fathers. If they don't have children, I mean, that's just like the next guy up the street, really. Some people don't want me to say that, but that's what it is. And I tell these young guys all the time, it's not about you. It's about that child at the house. And as Dr. Fagg mentioned, co-parenting. These young men have to understand that just because you're not with that baby's mother doesn't mean that you're off the hook. And I was up at Coleman Penitentiary, speaking to the brothers up there who got 100, 200 years, and the warden looked at me and she said, Haki, I thought you was going to start something. So I told him, I said, I don't care if you got 500 years, that don't take you, you're not off the hook. You still got a child home. How old was your child when you came in? A year. How long you been in here? 10 years. Is your child 11 or is your child 1? Your child aged. That's still your child. So no matter how long you're in here, you're not off the hook. So they asked me to come back up there to help the brothers, you know, how to communicate with their kids, and, you know, I mean, a couple of them stood up, and, you know, it really got me when they said none of the guards carry guns. That's the maximum security prison. I said, oh, none of y'all carry guns. And it's like, and it was maximum, there was no more seats in the place. The NAACP has a chapter up there, and they invited me, and the guys, I said, well, where do you know me from? You were in prison. They said, we hear you on the Monica May show all the time. They knew everything about me. Everything about me. They had pictures of me, everything. So, Let me get back to what I was saying. Action plan. I hope everyone would adopt at least one organization that works with young black boys and men. Adopt them for a year. Adopt them for a year. That means you're going to dedicate some time to an organization. Because we can come to meetings like this all the time and feel good for a little while, but what are you doing when you leave here? Financially support one small nonprofit organization that serves young boys. When I mean financially support, you don't have to give them all your going out money. You don't have to give them all your money, but ask yourself this, especially us men. Have you ever given a donation to an organization that supports young men and boys? Just think about that. Have you ever dedicated any time to an organization that supports young boys, our young boys and our young men? We have to begin to step up. We have to begin to make a commitment to them. If we don't make a commitment to our young boys, Jerry got and we don't want to send them to jail. We don't. But that's what's going to happen. We have to make a commitment. We have to, organizations like Bethune-Cookman, Onyx Magazine, the City of Orlando, Family Parks and Recs, PKZ, all these organizations who's stepping up. All of them were sponsors, all of them wrote a check. Rodney didn't have to write a check. Dr. Fat didn't have to write a check. Rich didn't have to write a check. They didn't have to. They could have did what so many others of them do. Dodge me. We have to support organizations like Lewis Organization. A young organization, you should go online and look at some of the work he's doing with the young black boys, teaching them math and science. That's black male achievement. So we have to do that. Either mentor or recruit a mentor for a young boy or a young man. Whether it's that mentoring program, you know, like this brother over here in the red, that's going to be the first brother I'm talking to after this, because people oftentimes, I couldn't get you, fine, you got me now. Okay? But we have to do those things, and we do some of those things, financially commit something to an organization. How many people here would be glad to take a donation from someone for an organization they work with? You'd be glad to, right? But we have to do that and not just talk about it. So we can open it up now if anyone has any questions.
I just had a quick question for Sheriff Emmons. Are you noticing an increase in the arrest rate among our youth, and what's the youngest offenders you've seen, in the big house?
Well, that's an excellent question. Because while I share with you the statistics as of today, actually, we've made great strides. In 2002, in October of 2002, I was the Director of Public Safety and Director of the Orange County Jail. And at that time, on any given day, we averaged over 100 black teens who were incarcerated in the Orange County Jail. I told you earlier, there was only 24 there today. In the summer of 2008, in August of 2008, we had 4,900 people incarcerated in the Orange County Jail. I told you this morning there were 3,040. So we were booking in 2008 on an annual basis 61,000 people through the Orange County Jail. In 2013, we booked 48,000 through the jail. When we look at our juvenile numbers, the same difference. We are actually arresting fewer juveniles than we were 10 years ago. And it's because of the quality of the programs, the prevention-related programs. And as I see it, a program like Young Fathers is a prevention program. It's going to stop, hopefully if it's done right, it will assist young men in stopping a tragedy from occurring in perhaps their lives or their children or their lives. And so the numbers are really trending down. we went through a downturn in our economy nationally, starting in probably 2007, passing today. But I see improvement as a result of a lot of things that have gone well for us. But a lot of the funding to the social service providers was cut. And so those were dollars. Haki cannot do this program effectively without financial support. He's got to have some dollars. These fathers who are raising their children, they've got to have some dollars to go to school and learn a skill to take care of their families and what have you. And so when I saw the dollars being cut to our social programs, what that signals to me is that there's a ripple effect. At some point in the future, we're going to see a blip on the crime radar screen where it's going to go up. That's just a sad reality of what we're dealing with. But I remain encouraged. The reason I come to programs like this is because I think if we spend money on this front end, then earn dividends on the back end. So that's what I would share with you. Now, probably contrary to what you might believe, intuitively you probably see, because of the media, you see crime every day. Listen, there's a news truck in the parking lot of my central operations building every day, several hours a day. And that's how you see me on television, because they're hounding me. So it creates a certain perception for the public about what crime is. Now, I will tell you, these young people who are getting arrested, they're very violent. They're getting arrested and being charged with murder. Just last week, we had a 14-year-old involved in an armed robbery of a gentleman opening up his business in the morning. It was a scrap metal business. The 14-year-old was driving a car, letting him old to have a driver's license. They shot the individual as they were robbing him that morning, 14 years old. So that's what we see now. When we talk about this, sadly, I got to tell you, most of these people that we're talking about who become violent crime victims, they're people of color. We have had 29 homicides as of this past weekend. 29 homicides in unincorporated Orange County year to date. If I had to ask all of you in this room, what do you believe the majority of those people who died, the violent act, what do they look like? Who do they look like? I know that every one of you to a person would say they're likely black. And you're right. The majority of them are black. And if I ask you, who do you think is responsible for their death? What color do you think that person is? Okay. You get the picture, what I'm talking about? This is real stuff. And if we want to change it as a black sheriff and an African American sheriff who just happens to be black, but I represent all people, it's disturbing to me when they're calling me and they're giving me an update, a briefing. When I grew up in this community, parents lived in Paramore, moved out, but education, you educators who are here this evening, education to me is one of the great equalizers. I'm not in jail probably because I got a good education. My son, my 3 adult sons, are probably not in jail or prison because they got a good education. They're taking care of their children. So I want the same thing for all of these families in this area that I want for my own family. So I'm going to work hard and I'm going to support these kind of organizations. So you got to stay at it. But you do, Haki says something, you got to put these words into action. We sit around here and we have dialogue all evening, and we don't leave here more compelled to go back and to do something in our own respective ways, then we have just wasted some time this evening. And I'm not here to waste my time. I got to tell you, I will work with those organizations who are trying to help out. our children.
Again, tonight I didn't know exactly what to expect at this meeting. I did not know, I did not know what to expect. Early on, I spoke with Sheriff Jerry Dennis. I myself, I'm a Floridian, right here in Orange County. My roots are here. My family, entire family, is from this region. And I am a product of a single black mother. I seen my mother work from sun up to sundown to see her kids succeed to have. And I've done the very best I could do in my lifetime as a young father myself. And like I said, Brother Sean Ford and he can attest to that. When I was behind on child support, I called. When my job was unstable or uncertain, I gave him a call. I stayed in the race because at 28 years of age, my mother went on to be with the Lord. I'm the eldest of her sons. I have an older sister. And at that time, a lot came upon me. A month later, I lost my father. Both of my parents I lost within a month's time. One November 16th, a week before Thanksgiving, and my father, he passed away the 23rd of December, 1995. Everything that I am today is because of my mother. I speak of my father because it came a time that I had to take care of him, and I'm talking, and I wish everyone would just hear me for a minute because you and I have work to do, along with you, Sheriff. I step to you today, and I want you to remember my name. My name is Todd. And it's been a struggle, it's been a fight. But thanks to the Almighty God, I had a grandmother that stayed in the fight with me, believed in me. I had tough times in the beginning. I was a little hard-headed, hot-headed. But if you're reared right and raised right, you'll get back on that right path. And what I do today is to inspire young black men, myself, blacks alike, because Sheriff Dennis can't do it alone. And my question to you is, I hear you talk about the young fathers, and I have somewhat of a concept of what Black Forum is all about. But what is the organization really doing is the question I have. Even I'm going to talk to you after this session to see that, but I feel that I do want to be a part of this because something has to be done. Because I just don't see black brothers loving each other. It used to be a time where it was said, the white man is, or whatever words we use for the white man. He's this, he's that. And it was a time when hustlers was out here hustling. They would say, I've never taken from a black man. But today, that's all they look to do is take from the brother. And even in taking, or a woman, man, or a child, giving what they have at the time of a crime being perpetrated, they still kill. That's an atrocity. That's an evil that Sheriff Dennis himself cannot fix. That we all in here can't just talk about it, we must be about it. And for me, being reared on these streets, seeing a lot of thugs, a lot of murderers, coming up with them, and they're not here today, they're dead, or in the jailhouse, or the penitentiary. We're losing in record numbers. And today, you don't just have to be a sports hero. You don't have to be LeBron James. You don't have to be Chris Johnson. There is room for people such as the people that I see sitting on this panel. The Barack Obamas of the world, the Jerry Dennis of the world. Because through education, as was spoken earlier, you have these resources. It's really time
an excuse anymore. So my point is, I think we all have to pitch in and we have to do something to stir up this community in a major way. It's just gonna have to be done. One young man came to me not long ago, he says, Todd, he said, we went down here and it's gang related. He said, and we took a lot of pastors, people of your caliber. He said, this young brother rolled up on the block and told us we better get the H-E double hockey stick out of here. He said, when the pastor began to talk to him, he said, I'll tell you what, be here when I get back. Brother Quentin told me they got their keys, they rushed to their cars, and they boogie. It's out of control, guys. And like the sheriff said, each and every day that I look on here, somebody's getting killed that you know but nothing. Even if a brother is selling dope but doing wrong, they're killing these brothers for $100 and $200 worth of dope. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Has it gotten that bad when we're doing this? So with that being said, I know I'm long-winded, but it's something that I have a passion for. If your passion is as deep, as rooted as mine is, I know that we have work to do because we have work to do from top to bottom.
But we got a lot of work to do, brother. So, and, you know, we're definitely going to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it. You're going to see what we do. You know, there's one thing we don't do is we don't just talk. Garbage. We talking about, you know, Sean. How long we been knowing each other, Sean? How many times we sat in there in the Wells building in a little room with brothers who got their license suspended, and Sean was there and said, look, if you're going to get a job, you can get your license back. So we've been, you know, we don't talk a game. You know, we don't talk, we produce. Everybody on this panel, from Rodney all the way down Northwest, where's Northwest? Is that in Windermere somewhere? Where is that? Mercy Drive?
Right on Mercy Drive.
You know what I'm saying? We not sitting here. Yeah, we not sitting here playing games and so forth. But we can talk extensively about that. We got any more questions in here? But I appreciate your comments, brother. I appreciate your passion. And if your passion is prepared for what we have, then we're going to get a lot done. So with you in particular. Does anyone else have a brother right there?
Hi, I was just curious, how do you get the message out as far as your organization? I mean, like I was doing my laundry, and I was, open up the page, and that's how I found out about this. But I was just wondering, for more people to like maybe get an idea of where you at or what about these programs, how do you get
word of mouth. But let's say this week here. If any of you heard this on 94.5, yes. Monica has been talking about it for days. We're in newspapers in terms of Father's Week. We're in newspapers. We're in all articles. We've been in television. News. We've been on Orlando Sentinel. So we've gotten publicity in terms of what we do and where we are. It's people actually coming out, like the one brother just said. That was sitting there that left. He said some family members told him to come that was supposed to come. They didn't even come. So it's just that the problem that we have is, like I was telling Jerry earlier, is that I used to go to high schools and speak. I don't go to high schools and speak anymore. Why? Because we don't have the capacity. Years ago, I can go speak with 30 young men in high school, and at the end of that conversation, ask the fathers to stay by, it'd be 2 or 3 fathers. Now it's 9, 10 fathers. I had my first 12-year-old father this year. 12-year-old father, 12-year-old mother. And they were fighting because the mother of the boy wanted to raise the child, but the mother of the young girl didn't want the child. She wanted to put the child up for adoption. The mother for the young boy asked me, Miss Haki, why she don't like us? I said, it's not that she don't like you. She don't want to have anything to do with you or this child. She want her child to get a clean sweep. Dr. Baby, hope Dr. Parents is in Alaska somewhere. So her daughter does not have to see this child again. 12 years old. She was raped at 9, having sex since then. We have a program like Just a Gentleman program. We got more people. We got people on the waiting list in Seminole County. They on the waiting list. There's too many. So we have the only teen and young fatherhood organization in the state of Florida. But I got to beg people for quarters here. To have them right here in their backyard. You got to beg them for quarters. You got to chase them. And help them understand how their money invests in our community. How, like Jerry was saying, I'm glad he put it the way he put it, is that you have to put some money into these organizations. That's why I said, if we want to do anything for young black boys and men, we have to have some type of commitment. We have to have some type of commitment. Glenn's been working with us for 7 years. Ruben, 6, 7 years. Stephanie, Crystal, they don't get paid. You know what I mean? And there are so few fatherhood practitioners. Me and Dr. McFadden talked about this all the time, and Rodney. There are so few fatherhood practitioners. I mean, I've never turned down so much money in my life. Not because I don't need it or want it, but there's so many opportunities, especially in South Florida, for fatherhood initiatives because they have money down there. But there's no fatherhood practitioner, so everyone offering me the job. Come down there and work for them. Come down there and do this. So we get our information out there, because we got 5 programs, just so the brother knows. A dad-to-dad mentoring program. Michael Basin came. Do y'all remember who he gave the money to for having the best mentoring program in Orlando? Us. Our little organization. Because we have more mentee matches than all the other ones that run around here talking about they doing mentoring. All right? We have father support groups, fathers training, our Just a Gentleman program, our Teen Fatherhood Academy program for 14 and 19-year-old fathers. So we have 5 programs. So they're out there, but we don't have enough people to service all the fathers that are out there. So, and that's a sad thing when you have a line of guys wanting service. And we work with guys from 14 to 24. Well, 12 now, but 14 to 24 mainly. I have guys call me all the time, they 30, 31, 32, and I'll just say this last thing. At the International Fatherhood Conference in 2010 in New Orleans, Louisiana, I conducted a survey and asked, now it's 1,000 men all over the country with fatherhood programs. I asked them what age did their organization begin engaging fathers. The average age was 27. They got mad at me. They said I was calling them out. I said, I'm not calling anyone out. I asked you the question, what age do your organization begin engaging fathers? So at the age of 27, we give them, our young boys, 10, 11, 12 years to be dysfunctional and absent fathers. I said I wasn't going to preach tonight, but, you know, you know, we have a lot to do, and we're doing it. But, just like the brother said, now should we have more people here fighting through the door, like me and Rodney always say? This is not easy. What he decided to do with Direct Center wasn't easy. What Dr. McFadden decided to do with Through Cookman wasn't easy. Those things not easy. The same way we tell our little boy, it's easy to just slip the condom off. That's easy. It's easy to tell her, let me slip it down to the head. That's easy. It's easy for them. That's easy. It's hard to put it on right and keep it on. And if you have sex with her 10 times in a month, don't wear the condom 3 times. You understand what I'm saying? All that's easy. This is not easy work. So that's why people who want to be involved in this work, and I'm not going to call them soldiers, because, you know, I was in the military, so I don't even call them like they're soldiers, you know, ain't no call. So I'll just say, you know, have a basketball player come up, we in a ball, we soldiers, and you play basketball. Kill that, you know, you make $10 million to play basketball. Especially if you want on the bench, y'all probably definitely ain't doing that. So I ain't gonna call us soldiers, but we in this fight. That's why I respect Glenn so much. I respect Ruben so much. Stephanie, Crystal, Denise. I respect them. Joe. I respect all these people here because I know they're in it and they doing it. So That's a long way to answer your question. I hope I answered.
Can I add to that as far as trying to get the word out? And that's one of the reasons why I'm really excited to be involved, because I see these kids that come to our facilities, they don't have a parent to either register them to use the facility. You know what I mean? And then they got to try to find who are the local guy in the community to sign them up. So they have no representation at all. And it is an honor to be able to talk to those kids, let them know that there's some help out there, to be able to bring up a Haki or Rodney Williams initiatives to get them to do something or get them involved and try to just get them enrolled in the program some kind of way so that they don't end up with Jerry. You know what I mean? Because otherwise, that's exactly where they're going. And it takes all of us to get the word out, not just the radio or not. I tweet, I YouTube, I told Mr. Rodney from the beginning, I said I am a cyber nut. I'm going to promote my programs, and I do. That all the way in Tallahassee is where his brother is. That saw that I sent the information out on my Facebook page, that came back to Orlando, that got him sitting here, that'll be able to get him to network with this brother. That's how it happens. That's how we get the word out. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Denise.
And also check out our website. Like Denise mentioned, we are having a presence in social media. So
yeah, we have a Facebook page, all that.
Facebook page, youngviolencecentral.com.
I just want to share something as a new person to being a resident of Florida and resident of Orlando area. I don't want you all to beat each other up about the struggles that are taking place and what's happening here. I'm going to tell you right now, I come from a city that's very similar in size, but Orlando's got a lot more going on in engaging youth than most places in this country, including my own, who often gets the title of being one of the most livable cities in America. Pittsburgh is a place that's very similar in size, but I can't tell you how proud I am to be an Orlando resident now based on seeing the kind of work that actually is happening in this city and in this town. So even though there are some struggles, you know, it's a struggle that's happening across the country, brother. That story, the things that you've shared, everybody's going it. But I have to say, from my perspective, and I've been a board president of a charter school for the past 10 years in the city of Pittsburgh. I've been in higher education doing admissions, financial aid, scholarship for more than 20 years at the University of Pittsburgh and for Carnegie Mellon University. And traveled many places, seen a lot, and I'm going to tell you, don't be as discouraged. I know there's a lot going, and Haki, I salute you for the work that you've actually established and continue to do, and I'm happy to be a part of it. But you guys got a lot more going on than most places do in the country, and that's why the recognition comes from the president and being selected as a city, because there's a lot that is happening here, and you are a shining example. So I know it seems as if there's not as much going on, and it's easy to do that when you're sitting in the place and you see what's bad, but really there's a lot of progress that's happening here that I'm very proud of that I am here. So, you know, I want to say that as someone new to this, happy to be here because there are some things that are really taking place, and a lot of cities would die to be able to have this group of people in the same room really working and talking and fighting towards the problem than just talking about it and not doing anything. Just
think about it. You know, we call that happy. See, he had the happy cat. But we moving further than that, but we definitely proud. But you're right too, brother. There's a lot of cities that's not doing work. Just look at that shirt that says PKZ on it. Just the work that PKZ is doing alone is just phenomenal. You know, it's modeled after the Harlem Kids Zone up in New York. But tomorrow night we have the child support and father's rights. If you know anyone who has questions, or if you know someone who works with families, because my big issue is a lot of agencies, and I'm surprised when I do workshops with social workers how most of them don't understand half the child support laws in the state of Florida. So if you know people who work with family members, the professionals out there who call themselves professionals, they need to be at this meeting as well. Did anyone go to the conference in Daytona and listen to the family lawyers and child support? Okay, did you learn anything? Were you surprised at things? There's things, and knowing that, for example, a non-marital couple, the boy, the young man, and the young girl, the young man has so few rights as a non-marital father. It was shocking. It was shocking. So we need to get this information to pass on, because we know people, young people who have children, but if you can stop by, it's right here. It's going to be right in this building. We're going to cut this room in half, and we're going to, because child support people be, they're kind of serious. So, and family, and even family law, because every single one of you in here, in some time in your life, there's a family law issue that you have to deal with. So if you think, nah, man, not me, all right. All right. Yes.
And it's free.
And it's free. Every event is free. Now when you leave out of here, we have a donation box, which we never had before, first time, and we selling our hats. So if you want to support these events this week, you can, but every event is free, so feel free to bring other people. I tell guys, why go to an event like this by yourself? You see brothers roll up by themselves? Why? Bring someone with you. You don't know one young man that you should bring to this, or one older guy you can bring to this. Just this knowledge up here and experience up here with these individuals. Amazing. Any last? Yes, please.
Question. We spoke about the, and I know that we're going to look at that. You work with the child support agency. Now, I'm not going to be available to be here tomorrow. Is it possible you can speak? Sorry about that. You on there? All right.
Oh, yeah. Charles,
can we talk with you? Counselor? And I said that, thanks. And I said that, and I shared this with IT and also with Bishop Paul White. Leon's baby's mother received Social Security for their children. Because these were not his children, the Social Security went with the other parent, so he was left trying to pay for home and take care of the kids. Leon said to me about a week ago when he called me, and then I knew that this was very serious. I'm like Glenn. I grew up with a mother and father that were pretty successful. So I never understood child support, how big the life is. That was so far-fetched. And he said to me, he said, Mr. Black, if I were not here, my children would get my Social Security because I work. I said, brother, what did you say? He said, but this is how he's thinking to survive for his children. And sometimes we hear things like that and he says, well, as some fancy, we'll deal with that today when we shock and then we see on the news somebody's committed suicide. And, and I say this, Jerry, to a lot of people. You talk about PTS, post-traumatic syndrome. I don't think that only exists in the military. Anytime there's a traumatic period or situation in your life that you can't get through, you don't understand. Your father is a crack, and you're dealing with so many issues, and you're like, how do I deal with this? Today I'm by myself. So if we can get with you to talk about his child support, that we can get with the license, and if we can possibly get with you, Rod, to talk about, and we also need some counseling, that someone can...
Reading and counseling, I don't think Leon ever got that. I don't think he ever received that.
He never got it.
And that's what he went straight from the death to care for the children.
So if we can do that, that would be better. And I know you to be who you are, so I definitely embrace that. But I appreciate
But we'll definitely do that. Dion is a good hand. That's why I wanted him to come tonight. Thank everyone for coming. Get home safe. If you want to speak to someone before you leave, I'm pretty sure if you